Tonight, jail time for a former mayor. Trevor Birch handed a multi-year sentence for a sexual assault conviction. Plus, a local police chief suspended.
Well, it's a stunning development.
Sarnia's top officer, the subject of a workplace harassment investigation. And best fit for the neighborhood.
I think we do need it, and it's a good area for it to be.
Resident reaction to an affordable housing project in East London.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with severe weather arriving in our region at this hour. Environment Canada has issued a tornado warning with the potential for damaging winds, large hail, and intense rainfall. This is a time-lapse video of the storm arriving at our studios in South London. For the latest on this, here's our meteorologist, Julie Atchison.
Thank you so much, Carlyle. The tornado warning remains in effect in through eastern Middlesex County. It has ended in western Middlesex. I watched this storm as it pushed through western Middlesex County. There were reports of rotation with the storm, meaning the potential for a tornado. Now, wind gusts upwards of 110 kilometers per hour, intense hail as well, damaging wind gusts, as I mentioned, and torrential downpour. So areas that I'm looking at right now, coming in towards the St. Thomas area, South London being hit extremely hard by this storm. There are reports of power outages right now in South London. If you are watching, best idea is to get away from windows and head to an interior room in your home. You can see the intensity of this storm as it continues to push through, again, coming in towards Elgin County right now. Areas like Belmont, Crampton, Avon, Springfield, St. Thomas, these areas are going to be hit in the next 15 minutes. Dorchester as well. So if you are watching from that viewing area, please be mindful that this storm is coming through. It is extremely strong ahead of a cold front. We had a warm, moist air mass in place, Carlyle, through the day today. This is a cold front. Again, a tornado warning in effect for eastern Middlesex County. The areas that I just mentioned as well, including all of London, Westminster, Glanworth, you are under the gun as this system comes through. Coming up, I'll take you through that forecast, Carlyle. We'll look at this system as it continues to hammer parts of our region with hail, heavy downpours, damaging wind gusts. This storm definitely causing a major impact in our region.
Julie, thanks very much. To the London courthouse now, where a former Woodstock mayor was sentenced today for a sexual assault conviction. With more on how long Trevor Birch will spend behind bars, here's Nick Paparella.
A London courtroom heard how after serving 2 terms...
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
At 6:01 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Tuesday, Environment Canada has updated a tornado warning for southwestern Ontario. Extra care and attention should be exercised. The following localities are included in the warning: London, Middlesex and Elgin. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking a severe thunderstorm that is possibly producing a tornado. Damaging winds, large hail and locally intense rainfall are also possible. Take cover immediately if threatening weather approaches. Please consult local media for more information.
Saying Mr. Birch was only interested in his own sexual gratification. He went on to say, "Here I find that the violence of the sexual assaults was particularly humiliating and degrading to the victim." He added, "The victim was a very vulnerable person. She suffered from depression. As a person with limited financial means, she was susceptible to Mr. Birch's promises of favors as the mayor of Woodstock." Justice Nicholson went on to say, "Mr. Birch, you treated the victim like she was your property, or worse, your pet, that you could do whatever you wanted to her when you wanted. She was treated like an abused animal. She was not." The judge then handed Birch a sentence of 4 years and 8 months in prison. As the sentence was being handed down by Justice Nicholson, Birch stared straight ahead. When he was led away by the court constables, he showed little or no emotion. After this, Birch's legal woes will continue, because in the other case of sexual assault, which initially ended in a mistrial, Birch eventually pled guilty to 1 count of sexual assault and 1 of assault. The court has heard that he'll be sentenced on June 16th, with any prison term running concurrently. In between the two sexual assault cases, Birch was also convicted of impaired driving in February of last year. Before he was led away, Justice Nicholson added, "I am going to recommend that you be provided access to treatment for both drugs and alcohol addiction. I don't know if you can climb back up, but I do hope that you try for your own sake." Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Sarnia's police chief has been suspended from his position with pay. That decision as the Sarnia Police Board announced an independent investigation into a workplace harassment complaint against the chief. Brian Bicknell reports.
In a news release, the Sarnia Police Service Board says it has initiated a formal independent investigation following a workplace harassment complaint filed against Chief Derek Davis. The board says effective immediately, Chief Davis has been suspended with pay pending the outcome of the investigation. This suspension is a standard administrative procedure to ensure a fair, transparent, and unbiased investigation process and does not imply any determination of wrongdoing.
Well, it's a stunning development.
Sarnia Mayor Mike Bradley says he learned of the news Tuesday morning at the same time the general public was informed. Davis was given the job in 2022 when Bradley was a member of the board. The mayor has since stepped down.
I ironically left the police board because I did not like spending and the attitude of the new chief at that time, who now is being suspended. However, he's entitled to fair process, and we'll see that unfold.
Last year, Davis and the police board lobbied for a new $90 million police headquarters approved by council but vetoed by Mayor Bradley. Last month, the chief filed a $1.5 million defamation suit against the owner of the Sarnia Journal, which had been publicly critical of the chief. The board is paying Davis's legal costs with public funding. Earlier this year, Davis's contract was extended to 2032, while the Police Association and its 230 uniform and civilian members have been without a contract since mid-2023.
I hear almost daily from officers and civilians about the morale or lack of it. It's been a very top-down administration, almost like a 1950s, 60s style of administration, not taking into account modern policing and how you deal with your employees and how you deal with the many issues they have. They've been sitting without a contract for a number of years, and that's not a good sign of good labor relations.
CTV News reached out to Chief Davis, who says it's too early to comment on the investigation, and he doesn't yet know the details of the complaint himself. In the meantime, the police board did not disclose the nature of the complaint and said it would not provide further comment. Chair Kelly Ash tells CTV News the board is in the midst of obtaining a commitment with a workplace investigation law firm to conduct the investigation. Deputy Chief Mike Van Sickle assumes the position of acting chief.
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
At 6:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Tuesday, Environment Canada has updated a tornado warning for southwestern Ontario. Extra care and attention should be exercised. The following localities are included in the warning: London, Middlesex, Elgin, Oxford and Brant. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking a severe thunderstorm that is possibly producing a tornado. Damaging winds, large hail and locally intense rainfall are also possible. Take cover immediately if threatening weather approaches. Please consult local media for more information.
Reached as high as 36, with health officials recommending reduced time outdoors during the hottest hours of the day. City officials also opened up cooling centers for anyone needing a break from the heat. Lambton OPP say they're looking for a person missing in Lake Huron. According to police, 5 people were on a raft at Pinery Provincial Park near Grand Bend yesterday when they went into the water. They say 2 people made it back to shore safely. 2 others got back on the raft, but a 5th has not been spotted. No other details on their identity have been provided. London police say they're investigating a fatal crash involving an e-bike. They say it happened near Bridges and Egerton Street Friday afternoon. According to police, the bike rider was taken to hospital but did not survive. They say the driver who hit them remained at the scene. Officials at City Hall say they believe the death 2 weeks ago at London's micro shelter was unpreventable.
Doesn't appear that that's the case, that there was anything we could have done to prevent this death, but that doesn't prevent us from looking at the policies and procedures to see what needs to be tweaked or modified, ramped up, ramped down.
Sources have told CTV News the person died from a suspected drug overdose the night of May 4th, but they weren't discovered until noon on May 6th. London's deputy city manager says no amount of cabin inspections could have avoided the death. Abstinence from drugs is not required to secure space in the shelter. However, officials say they do provide recovery options.
We have a fully running Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous right on site at the micro shelter. We've got a number of people who've actually got into recovery services and they're on medication to curb their opioid addiction. So yes, we've had a tragedy, but we're also seeing well over a dozen success stories so far of people getting into treatment and recovery services on site.
Mixed reaction to a new supportive housing development at the site of the former Bob Hayward YMCA. The property has been sold, which means substantial changes on the way for the neighborhood. And as Sean Irvin reports, some of those neighbors aren't on board.
A pathway has already formed on the site of the former Fairmont Public School in London's East End. It's now an open space appreciated by neighborhood residents.
It is a nice green space. There's a lot of times that I find kids out here just playing like kickball and stuff like that, which is really nice to see.
But much of this site is slated to be redeveloped into apartments and townhomes, including affordable and supportive housing. The latter project announced Friday will see the former Bob Hayward YMCA redeveloped into 100 units.
So you have to have more houses, so it's got an open field. You got an empty building there. You need to use it.
Now, off camera, multiple residents told us they're supportive of any type of affordable housing development on this land as long as some space remains open for public use. But still others are not happy at all with this proposal, with some even saying they're considering moving. Well, that reaction may be an exception. Even those in support of the project have reservations.
The one thing that is very, I think, a fear necessarily in this neighborhood is bringing down everybody's housing.
They don't really like it. I think they're kind of upset by it, but I think we do need it, and it's a good area for it to be.
Last week, City Councillor Hadley McAllister welcomed the projects, while adding a stipulation that future large-scale affordable housing projects should be created citywide.
I think the East End has done its part.
Many of his constituents agree.
They should have more of it all over the city instead of just one area like they have been doing.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Unionized workers with Community Living London could soon hit the picket lines. Before resorting to that, though, they're spending this week pressuring provincial politicians demanding higher pay. With more, here's Jerry Dewan.
Members of OPSU Local 166 were in Woodstock Tuesday afternoon outside the office of Oxford MPP Ernie Hardeman, at one point going inside.
Wouldn't even give us 2 minutes of his time. Shame!
The Community Living London workers were among the thousands of public service workers in Ontario that had their salaries frozen by the Ford government's Bill 124. When the courts ruled the bill unconstitutional, many employee groups collected a 6.5% retroactive salary increase.
Like the LCBO, corrections officers, some educations and some hospital members received the 6.5.
Fuster says those sectors have provincial collective bargaining.
They go to the table with thousands and thousands, but for community livings, we individually go to the table to our employer to try to get the money, and they don't have it. They are underfunded.
Fuster says approximately 600 Community Living London workers could be on the picket line Monday, and there are 26 locals representing about 4,500 members across the province that could also go out. The workers support people with intellectual disabilities, staffing group homes, running day programs, and providing employment supports.
They're paying taxes. They're out there feeling like they're part of their community. You get a lot of buy-in from the employers.
The impending strike is already having an impact on the vulnerable population.
I support 4 gentlemen that are currently being packed up to move out of their homes.
Jackie Campbell works at a group home. She worries about the upheaval residents are facing and how they'll deal with replacement workers.
They suffer from anxiety. These are unfamiliar staff that will be going in, working with these people.
Some worry the replacement workers being brought in won't be prepared to deal with the more challenging behavioral issues.
People can be attacked and physically hurt. We have WSIB claims all the time, weekly. We have members that have to wear specialized helmets, Kevlar.
This is the first of 3 demonstrations being held outside of the offices of Conservative MPPs this week. On Wednesday, they'll be in front of Rob Flack's office in St. Thomas, and on Thursday, outside of Steve Pinsonneau's office in Strathroy. The workers are hoping to avoid the picket line on Monday, but aren't optimistic. In Woodstock, Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
We're approaching the 1-year anniversary of a fatal crash near Dorchester that killed 4 Walkerton students and their teacher. Their friends and families have started foundations or memorial funds in their honor, and this week we'll be profiling those. With Danica Baker's story, here's Scott Miller.
Danica Baker was one of the happiest people Matt Pickett has ever met.
She was a bubbly, charismatic, fun-loving, just everything you would wish for in a child in your family.
Baker was one of 4 Walkerton area students killed alongside their coach in a crash near Dorchester last May 23rd. They were on their way back from a school softball tournament. Baker enjoyed softball, but volleyball was her real passion. The 16-year-old from Mildmay quickly becoming a leader amongst the Blue Water Ballistics family.
She'd always be the first one there on court. She'd always be the one working hard. And she would always be funny. She was just like, it can't be lost in all the grief, just how funny Danica was.
To honor Baker, her ballistics volleyball family started the Danica Baker Memorial Bursary Fund last September. It's meant to assist families who need financial assistance to play ballistics volleyball, as well as support players in their post-secondary school pursuits.
So we thought it was a great way to honor her memory. And to ensure that those down the road know what number 11 was all about. And you can see just in behind me, number 11, holds a big part in our organization.
Danica's number 11 jersey wasn't retired by ballistics, rather revered as a symbol of hard work and kindness.
She was just a stand-up kid, a real loss to the community, to the club, to the school, to everybody.
Foundations or memorial funds have been created for all 5 victims of last May's tragedy.
The immediate reaction of grief is extreme sadness, community outpouring of support, club support, everybody not knowing what to do to honor these young people and their teacher. I think over the course of the year, a little bit of healing comes from knowing that you're trying to do something positive for the living.
All this week, I'll be profiling the foundations created by the friends and families of the 5 victims of last May's tragedy. Students Danica Baker, Rowan McLeod, Cadence Ford, Olivia Rourke, and coach-teacher Matt Eckert.
It won't be the end of a chapter. It's sort of the beginning of a memory.
In Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
When we come back, the Snowbirds get grounded. Why the federal government has determined this summer's flying season will be a farewell. Plus, priced out, new numbers on World Cup affordability shows Canada's host cities are among the most expensive. Welcome back. Federal government leaders are grounding the iconic Snowbirds. They've been a symbol of Canada's military for more than 50 years, but this season will be all about farewell. With more on that decision, here's Graham Richardson.
2026 will be a farewell season for the Snowbirds in these iconic jets. The Tudors are finally being retired after more than 55 years in the air.
This is a significant moment. And it is an emotional one because of the extraordinary connection that this team has built with Canadians over more than 5.5 decades. This decision was not taken lightly.
The Defence Minister announcing Canada will replace the aging jets with these, the new Siskin 2 prop planes, not a full jet. And it's not clear when Canada will take delivery of them.
We need to work with the manufacturer. We need to make sure that we receive them in graduated form. It will take some time for them to roll off the production line. but we're moving as quickly as we possibly can.
The government says it remains committed to Moose Jaw and the Snowbirds, but starting in 2027, the fleet will be grounded for several years.
I inherited a situation where the planes literally had come to the end of their lives. They were unique in many respects. They didn't have the parts and other things to safely fly. So the Snowbirds will continue, and new planes are being commissioned and will arrive.
The Snowbirds alumni called this a profoundly disappointing decision. They also point out the new planes are propellers. No other G7 nation flies aerobatic teams without full jets.
It wouldn't have been our first choice. You can't perform the same kind of show with a turboprop trainer that you can with a jet.
The mayor of Moose Jaw says there are mixed emotions for his town today.
The Snowbirds are cherished to all of us. They are part of our fabric.
So there's still a lot of unanswered questions here. How long will it take the government to buy these new planes? When will they arrive in Moose Jaw? How long will the Snowbirds be grounded? But most importantly, when will they fly again? Graham Richardson, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
Federal health leaders have issued a measles warning for the upcoming FIFA World Cup because of lower vaccination rates in other parts of the world. Officials in Ontario and BC have announced plans in midst of a new study showing Toronto and Vancouver are among the most expensive cities to watch matches. With more on those numbers, here's Heather Wright.
The World Cup is the biggest sporting event on the planet, and this year's tournament will also be the most expensive, with the average ticket price in some host cities, including Toronto, sitting at well over $1,000.
It's the most expensive World Cup for a long time, and yeah, fans are being priced out of being able to go to the game they love.
According to a new study, New York has the highest ticket prices, an average of $1,700. Guadalajara is next at just over $1,500, followed by Dallas at $1,440 and Mexico City at $1,300. Toronto rounds out the top five with tickets averaging just under $1,300 apiece. At an average of roughly $500, tickets are more affordable in Vancouver, but the city tops the list when it comes to most expensive accommodations, with fans forking over an average of $922.71 a night for a three-star hotel room. That's nearly double the cost of staying in the next most expensive cities, Seattle and New York. In Toronto, an average hotel is just shy of $300 a night. According to Destination Vancouver, the city has not yet seen a World Cup hotel bump, with bookings down 20% this year.
We've heard a lot of different things. It's all speculation. We know it's going to be a busy time.
With 23 days to go until the World Cup kicks off in Canada, tickets are still available in both Toronto and Vancouver, including for Canada's opening match on June 12th. But they cost upwards of $1,000 apiece, pricing out many would-be attendees, including Angela O'Hara, who lives in Toronto and won't be going to any matches. But she is excited for the beautiful game to come to town.
Just being downtown with all the excitement, you can't beat it.
When it comes to food, the least expensive host cities are all in Mexico, with Toronto and Vancouver in the middle of the pack. Miami is the most expensive host city to dine out in. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Back on the desk with Julie Atchison, who has been quite busy over the last half hour or so, tracking a lot of moving parts and weather that is changing rapidly and has moved past us, it seems like, at least the worst of it, where we are in South London.
Yes, these storms are moving at about 60 kilometers per hour, and I was just showing Carlyle how we look at where these storms start to form. So we look at where the radar is coming in and going away, and then the upper level winds are strong. So that shows the rotation. That's why the tornado warnings have been issued. Now, Carlyle mentioned east of London, Oxford County under a tornado warning as well. Just in the last minute, Brant County issued. So these are the areas that are under the tornado warning. So what I'm looking at on my radar that I have on my phone right now is just south of Woodstock, north of Ingersoll. That's where we're seeing rotation, but that's coming in towards Norwich, Scotland, Otterville, those areas, Brantford, Paris, just south of Drumbo. So this line of severe storms is moving through, and you can see how that line continues to push push eastward right into Oxford County right now. So those areas, please be taking cover if you are watching us. In London, the threat has ended. Severe thunderstorms are coming to an end, but let's take a closer look at this storm, and I put a stop in the radar so you can see what we're looking at. Torrential downpours, damaging wind gusts, and rotation. Environment Canada also issuing a statement that there was rotation and possibility of a tornado already touched down in and around Belmont and the Dorchester area. So please be aware that this is an active weather situation. It is now east of London. Heavy thunderstorms moving through Elgin County as well. So you are being impacted by this system. Hot, humid air mass, a cold front coming in. The upper level winds are quite strong, and at the surface we are seeing these strong thunderstorms and again potential tornadoes in the area. As we head through the next couple of hours, that system that's pushed through is obviously east of London right now. It'll continue driving eastward. In London, just the chance for showers and thunderstorms, but the severity is expected to be much less. So cold front comes through tonight. The hot, humid air mass that prompted the heat warning will come to an end. Temperatures will start to drop off. We're already seeing temperatures dipping now in London to 19. Of course, that's just because the thunderstorm has moved through. The humidex has been quite intense through the day, approaching 40 towards the Windsor area. In London today, feeling like the mid-30s, but those numbers starting to drop. Now you can see where the storms have not moved through in and around Kitchener-Waterloo, where the humidex is still holding in the mid-30s. We hit a high of 27 degrees today. We did not break a record. The record 33 back in 1911. Now temperature last night was extremely warm and muggy through the overnight. Temperature tonight will be cooler, but we'll reach our lows just as we head towards sunrise. So overnight we'll dip down. We'll hold in the teens, but by tomorrow morning, anywhere from about 7 to 9 degrees. Tale of two seasons across the country. Western Canada, spring-like. Northern Ontario dealing with snowfall from this system, and then we have the warm, humid air mass that will be driving to the east tonight with the passage of the cold front. High pressure will be building in behind this weather system, and that will clear us out. You can still see some showers around the area. First thing in the morning, we'll have some rain in Sarnia as you get up for the day, and in London, the chance for some light rainfall. Heading into the afternoon, we are expecting overcast conditions, but breaking into some nice sunshine to a mix of sun and cloud. So as we go out that 36 hours, you can see clearing out by Wednesday evening. Conditions look nice for Thursday, and definitely not as hot as it was over the weekend. I know for many people, extremes can be very tough to take. So when we go from that cool spring-like weather to that intense heat and humidity, it definitely can have an impact. We'll head noon to tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, and then mainly sunny by the afternoon with winds out of the northwest. Let's get you through the next 7. So chance for thunderstorms will continue in London. The severity of the storms will weaken significantly. We'll just see some showers, possibility of some storms with the frontal passage. Tomorrow morning, the chance for some very light rainfall. And then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud. We have full sunshine in the forecast for your Thursday at 19 degrees on Friday, mainly cloudy with some nighttime rain. And then some rain in the forecast on Saturday. Temperatures this week will fluctuate a bit, but closer to where we should be for this time of year. And then next week, advertising a big warm up with a mix of sun and cloud and daytime highs between 23 and 24. Midwestern Ontario, your forecast, you're out of the heat and humidity tomorrow as well. We'll start the day with mainly cloudy conditions, some breaks of sunshine to a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon, and much cooler. You even have the risk for patchy frost as we head into Thursday morning. Temperatures will drop off under clear skies and light winds, a mix of sun and cloud for your Thursday. Friday, mainly cloudy with rain developing into Saturday, chance for showers on Sunday, and then warming up Monday into Tuesday. Again, tornadic activity pushing through southern Ontario tonight. Carlyle, tornado warning in effect in through Oxford County, including Brant County, as well as these storms charge eastward, moving again at about 60 kilometers per hour. I mentioned all the areas that will see that storm move through in the next 30 to 40 minutes. Please be safe out there tonight, and again, much calmer conditions as we head into tomorrow.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Coming up, taking the hit on energy bills. The latest inflation numbers showing a trend heading in the wrong direction. And later in the newscast, it's Behind the Lights with Lauren Stallone. Lauren, what are we talking about this week?
We're going to be talking about trading toys, and who doesn't love that?
All right, that's coming up. Stay with us.
Happy 519 Day. Today is May 19th, 519 Day, so we're celebrating all the best that London has to offer.
It's very clever. Catch us tomorrow morning on the show at 6 o'clock. We'll see you there.
latest.
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
At 6:31 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Tuesday, Environment Canada has updated a tornado warning for southwestern Ontario. Extra care and attention should be exercised. The following localities are included in the warning: Simcoe, Delhi, Norfolk, Oxford and Brant. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking a severe thunderstorm that is producing a tornado. Damaging winds, large hail and locally intense rainfall are also possible. Take cover immediately if threatening weather approaches. Please consult local media for more information.
Line is, we've got oil prices that are nearly double where they were at the beginning of the year.
Groceries were also more expensive, though food inflation, which was 4% in March, eased to 3.5% in April, with Statistics Canada noting the pace of price hikes eased for grocery items such as fresh vegetables, chicken, coffee, and tea. Still, many continue to struggle at the checkout counter.
I'm always scouring like the discount apps or, the discount aisle kind of thing and, trying to save a dollar where I can.
Rents were also up, but at a slower pace, rising 3.6% year over year. And some items were on the decline, including travel tours. Experts think the higher fuel costs just haven't filtered into the price of many items. But some also believe higher energy costs may actually be pushing down prices elsewhere as consumers spend less.
Because of those higher fuel costs, people have less money to spend on other things. So prices are easing in other areas.
Meanwhile, economists say with inflation outside of gas and food prices relatively tame, it'll take pressure off of the Bank of Canada to raise interest rates. John Benavalley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index moved lower in trading today. The TSX lost 92 points. In New York, the Dow dropped 322. The Nasdaq fell 220. The Canadian dollar is down a modest 0.03 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold is down almost $47 an ounce. Oil fell 23 cents a barrel. Still ahead, the waiting game. What's holding up the Gordie Howe Bridge opening as Windsor's mayor says the crossing is being held hostage?
My name is Sarah Marshall and I'm 29 years old. I was born 6 weeks premature on Valentine's Day of '97. I was born somewhat healthy and then within 24 hours, I was puking green bile and was sent straight to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, where I had an emergency surgery for a twisted bowel. And then from there, my whole medical journey started. Came here to London Health Science Centre and Children's Hospital for my testing for transplant. And I had in August of '97 a stomach, pancreas, liver, bowel transplant. So I'm the first pediatric multi-organ transplant in Canada, and I'm the youngest in the world, and I hold a Guinness World Records because of it.
Sarah, we first met her when she was just a few months of age. She had a condition that I don't think anybody really heard about. Had you asked me 29 years ago, absolutely no way would I have thought that she'd be here today doing this. She went through an awful lot. Her family went through a lot. She has the strongest will to live of pretty much anyone I've ever met.
I recently got married last September, which is a huge milestone because when I was waiting for a transplant and had my transplant, they didn't even think I'd go do kindergarten and all that. And now I'm here at 29 years old. I've graduated college. I became a big sister. I kayak. I go camping. So Children's Health Foundation is my lifeline. They're the ones who help support all the different programs that Children's Hospital offers, like art therapy and all that. And they're the ones that because of them, I've also been able to do a whole bunch of stuff by being an ambassador, by being a champion child for them, and help raise awareness for the hospital as well.
The owners of a Norwich retirement home that closed abruptly 2 years ago have pleaded guilty to not providing adequate notice. Trillium Care officials told residents on October 26, 2024 that they were ceasing operations 17 days later. Under provincial law, they were required to provide at least 120 days notice before shutting down facilities. The owners have agreed to pay more than $22,000 in restitution to a fund designed to help residents find accommodations during an emergency. Excuse me. The mayor of Windsor is suggesting American authorities could be holding the new Gordie Howe Bridge hostage in the midst of trade negotiations. As Michelle Molosky reports, there's still no official opening date.
As light testing continues on the Gordie Howe International Bridge, Windsor's mayor is worried decision makers will sacrifice the long game for the short-term opening of the city's second bridge.
We've fulfilled our end of the bargain, and now to weaponize this and to hold this bridge hostage is just a crying shame. But
the bridge opening has been tied to trade renegotiations with the Americans by a Canadian minister and the president himself.
If it means our country has to take a bad deal to satisfy the president of the United States, I would wait until there's a time when there's a good deal, because we do have lots of leverage in this country.
Dilkins hinted the city has survived with 2 crossings for a long time, and we can wait a little bit longer to make sure the new CUSMA deal helps Windsor in the long run.
There are a lot of bigger issues than whether we could drive a truck across that bridge. It's whether the stuff that's on that truck is going to get tariffed.
Flavio Volpe tells CTV News it's not just Canadians lobbying for a solid deal for auto.
2 weeks ago, every single auto association in the U.S., whether that's for cars, parts, or dealers, wrote to the White House and said, we need the USMCA.
Meantime, former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder says in addition to trade talks, Trump can delay the bridge opening in 2 other ways.
One is there is a presidential permit, and I don't know how revocable or not that may be. The other one is the staffing of the Customs Plaza. The Customs Plaza is built. It's an incredible facility, just as the Canadian one, but if there's no one working there, that would be a problem.
CBP officials did not respond to a request for information, while CBSA officials moved into the point of entry last fall. The new timeline for the bridge's opening is spring 2026, which ends in 33 days. Michelle Molosky, CTV News.
Tomorrow on CTV News, Sunfest officials unveiling the 2026 lineup, what to expect in Victoria Park this summer. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
My name is Steve Stokan. I'm a retired London Police Service member. I was employed by the London Police Service from 1993 to 2026. In 1997, I was involved in a critical incident that led to me developing PTSD. Worked throughout my whole entire career until about 2016, when a repeat bout of PTSD disabled me. I went off work. I had not been off work before, and I struggled to find supports. I became despondent that the pain would not stop, so I became suicidal. From that incident, I did not want to go to seek help at the London Emergency. All my coworkers are there on a regular basis, and all the staff that work there see me will understand that I'm injured. So I kind of suffered in silence for a period of time. I recovered, and after I recovered, I created a PTSD support group in 2017 to help people get through this problem. And as a result, over 400 first responders have gone through this PTSD support group. One of the things that I learned is this place is the acronym of HOPE. Hold on, pain ends. If you can just hold on, the pain will go away with time. Time and distance will heal all wounds.
My name is Christina Hassan. I was married to Omar, and we have 2 children. In 2016, he suffered from PTSD after being a police officer for 22 years with the London Police Service. Unfortunately, in 2021, none of the services were really working. He took his own life, May 19th, 2021. I was in shock. Had he had the opportunity to access a crisis center that was specifically designed for first responders, I have to believe that that could have been the key that would have unlocked his hope for the future and his hope for recovery.
A cold front on the move will bring cooler and drier conditions Wednesday into Thursday. Temperatures on the cool side midweek, but we return to normal as we wrap up the work week. Thank you so much, Ethan, for this beautiful capture from Dresden.
OPP and Oneida Nation of the Thames Police say they're investigating a shooting from this past weekend. They say officers were called to a home on Bodkin Road late Sunday night. By Monday morning, detectives and forensic teams were on the scene. A notice was sent to First Nation residents saying police had initiated a weapons investigation, which revealed that someone fired a gun toward a residence. No injuries were reported, though, and they say they believe this was an isolated incident. Fire crews tackled a house fire in the Woodfield neighborhood over the weekend. Emergency responders say a neighbor called 911 Sunday reporting alarms and smoke. They say all residents were able to get themselves out safely. Fire officials say a pair of cats were given oxygen, though, needing resuscitation, and both were okay. They say the fire likely started on a stove with damage estimated at about $10,000. A local family hosted a charity walk this past weekend, raising awareness for a loved one and their rare battle with a genetic disorder. Brent Lale has more on the event and the community support they received.
With their son Spencer leading the way, the Vacaroth family makes their way through Wortley Village. It's the second annual Spencer's Village Walk to defeat Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
It's a really hopeful time for muscular dystrophy. There's a lot of treatments coming out.
They are keeping their spirits high for their son's future, who was diagnosed 2 years ago, just prior to his 5th birthday.
It was a shock. It's a rare condition. We noticed some of the signs and symptoms, but it seemed subtle at the time. When we look back, it's more obvious.
Those symptoms included leg pain, speech delays, tripping, and an inability to master stairs. The founder of Jesse's Journey, John Davidson, sees his son when he looks at these young boys.
I look at guys like Spencer. I really see kids who have an honest shot at it now. It's not just dreaming, as we probably were at the start, that things would get better. But these kids now, with things like gene therapy and CRISPR and all the new technologies that are legitimately there on the scene.
Defeat Duchenne and John, really, we have to thank them a lot because they started it, right? Without them, we would have been a family just trying to figure it out on our own.
We do see the hope for the future. There is treatments and research. Canada has limited access still, so that's something we're really advocating for.
Davidson, whose Jesse's Journey Foundation is now Defeat Duchenne Canada, has seen this charity reach all 10 provinces and territories.
We have fulfilled part of the dream in that we're now giving out well over $1 million a year to research, thanks to the Jesse Davidson Endowment. We don't have a large corporate sponsor, and I think it's true philanthropy when people reach into their own pocket to pass you some money to make a difference in the world of research.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
And Julie's back on the desk with us as on the other side of the break here with Lauren. It's going to be behind the lights. We're talking about exchanging trinkets, I think was the term you used.
That's right. Little toys that mean something to you, remind you of other people, and I have a little surprise for you guys later on.
All right. Looking forward to that. Stay with us.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Before we go tonight, it's Behind the Likes with Lauren Stallone. Julie Anderson here with me as well. Before we wrap up today, we are talking about an exchange program that started in South London, Lauren.
Well, it's all over the world, really, but we have the first one here in London now. And basically what's happening is people are going to visit this trinket trade box and exchange toys. So you go, you bring a toy that means something to you or has a special memory associated with it, and you pick something that you want to take home with you. It's a really fun way to engage the community, and the creator of the box who designed it and put it all together to replicate the burn book from Mean Girls, if you notice that.
It does look familiar.
Yeah. She wants to remain anonymous because she says she wants this to be just about the little treasures that hold meaning and would otherwise end up in a dump, really. So she wants them to have their own stories instead of sharing her own. And I spoke to her about the inspiration behind this and what she's seen happen now that it's gained traction on social media.
I like giving new life to secondhand items that maybe don't spark joy. And I put some in, and within an hour of posting it to social media, there was literally a lineup. And over the next few days, we had trinket traders from all around London. We had them all the way from Windsor, Bramford, Guelph, and beyond, coming just to have a little bit of joy in their life and just really bringing a community together, because as they're standing out there in line, we've noticed that they're sparking conversations and chatting and really getting to know each other.
So I went down to visit the trade box myself, and I traded 3 items, and I came back with 3 items. I chose each one for each of you that reminded me of you.
Okay.
So Julie, this one's for you. It's a New Kids on the Block collector's card. I know you love music, you love dancing, going to concerts, and I thought of you right away. Carlyle, this one's for you. I feel like you definitely had these growing up.
Deck?
Yes. Is that what they're called? Because I wasn't sure, but I
They were
just
called
thought.
tech decks when you had these in
a
elementary
little mini
school.
skateboard.
Superman as well
So
underneath.
fun. And then for myself, I got a little Cinderella because I just love Cinderella. But immediately
There are
when I
kids
saw
who could
these,
actually do like kick flips and stuff with this, and I'm
Can you
embarrassed to say
show
I
us
can't.
what you got?
And I've never told you this, but this was the first
Sad.
concert I ever went to when I was a kid.
You're kidding me.
Premonition.
So
No way.
Yes,
I'm
I went.
so glad. I
I was
just
in
knew.
elementary school, and I went to a New Kids on the Block concert.
Wow, I'm so happy. See, and it just brings so much joy, which is the purpose of the. We need more of that in the community, right?
Agreed.
What's not to love?
Agreed.
There you
Yes.
go.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to
Thank
practice
you for that.
all night now.
Thank you so much, Lauren, Julie as well. That's it for us. That's Behind the Likes. We'll be back again tomorrow. See you again.